Hello there. You are welcome to another session from Pearls of Wisdom on Eyes of Africa TV. We pray that God restores peace in our nation again. Today on the program, I have with me a Deputy Director in the Office of Education, Quality Assurance, Ministry of Education, Lagos State. He has a bachelor's degree in guidance counseling and a master's degree in both guidance counseling and education administration. He is a consultant in education and counseling. He is a lead counselor with M Solution Consulting International Limited. He would be discussing on the topic career choices and the role of every parent. Join me as I welcome my guest today, Mr. Suleimon Ogunmuyiwa. You are welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much, Bukky, for inviting me.
Okay.
Let me say a good and pleasant evening to everyone listening. And I also want to join her in praying for our nation at this particular point in our life. I will pray that all these crises that and I also pray that all those that have lost lives and properties in this situation, God, in His infinite mercy, will come to their aid.
Amen. We thank God. Amen. So, we know a career is a profession.
Now, in everything, in every situation, I'll keep praising Him. Yeah, and I must tell you, this is my first time on this kind of live studio, and I see it as a privilege and also a delight to be here with you.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for the good job that you are doing and your team.
Thank you very much, sir.
Now, we'll be looking at in few minutes the topic as pronounced by her, which is choosing a career and the role of every parent in this process. So choosing a career is one of the most challenging tasks in the life of every individual. Well, I don't know which one comes first, whether the choice of a partner or a life partner or the choice of a career. But it seems to me that the two are very close and very germane for everybody's life. Because at the end of the two, what we see is happiness and satisfaction. So let me quickly quote one of the great fathers of counseling, Professor M.S. Olayinka, who said in 1980 that the right choice of career by an individual tend to result into happy, progressive, and fulfilled life. And he also said that a wrong choice of career mars the future progress of the same individual. So, right now, for every youth, it is important that they are guided through the choice of their career. Now, especially when we have undue attention that has been given to sports, to music, and fashion. It seems that every youth now wants to go in that direction without actually understanding who they are and what is going to be best for them. Again, there is a disappearance of our value system. In the olden days, value system dictates a lot of what people end up to become. Okay, I know that a lot of people became teachers because of the prestige that was given to that profession and because of the value that they have in the society. But right now, our so-called value system has disappeared. And youths of nowadays don't really understand what they should be doing. And there is absolute absence of guidance and counseling, if not for programs of this nature that tends to enlighten people. And I must tell you that the future is very unclear for all of us, especially our youths. So this is the more reason that parents must be up and doing in taking up this responsibility of guiding their children, guiding the youths into successful selecting a career that is going to be uh, the major source of their success in future. Okay, so at the end of my brief discussion, I want to see if I can achieve three things. Number one is to enlighten parents on their roles. Number two is to give guidelines that will help parents play this role, and also enumerate the factors that must be considered and discussed with children for them to be able to make a successful choice. Okay, so what is a career? A career is the sequence of jobs, occupations, or position occupied during the lifetime, during the working lifetime of a person. So it starts from what you do in your IT, what you do as volunteers, what you do in a paid employment, what you do as a leisure, and what you do or what you are going to be doing even when you retire from active service. Now, so the combination of all these things is what makes a person's career. Now, so it is developmental and it is progressive. You move from one stage to another, and you have to show a level of progress in what you are doing. So that's a career. Now, a lot of things affect people's choice of career. It affects why they choose a particular career. Now, people do this considering, number one, prestige. I want to become this because of this prestige that is associated with it. Now, if you look at it, I said teachers have this level of prestige in the past, but they don't have it now. Okay, so prestige can be a reason. Also, peer group influence is also a reason for that. And I'm a victim of peer group influence when I was going to fill my JAMB form when I was in class 5. And that was 1987. Now, I had no clue of what to choose. So a friend of mine just came and said, no, why don't you pick sociology? Now, this sounds great to me, and I felt sociology, oh, that's fine. And I filled it in my JAMB form. So that's peer group influence. Your friends are doing a particular thing, you also want to do it. Or you have no clue, a friend just suggests something to you and you follow suit. We also have parental influence. It may be positive, it may be negative. Now, there are people who are lawyers or accountants or medical doctors by profession, and they want their children to also become so. Whether they have the aptitude, whether they have the interest, is not an issue for them. They want somebody to inherit their own empire of occupation. So, and at times it may be positive. Like what we'll be discussing today, or what we are discussing now, is the positive aspect of parental influence. Then we have people who choose a a career because of the salary that is attracted to it, and and they don't want frustration. All these reasons, all these factors that I have mentioned above are the things that a lot of people usually consider. And these are one of the reasons why we have very high turnover in terms of manpower in a lot of institutions and establishments. A lot of youths today find it very difficult to spend 6 months in a particular establishment. They want to move, they want to shift. Now you see somebody study engineering, then leaves engineering and say, I'm going into accounting. Does a little bit of accounting and said, no, I don't want to do accounting again. I want to go into film production. So they are basically confused because from the beginning, they did not carefully choose what they want as a career. Now, parents have a lot of role to play because parents are the ones that gave birth to these children. We give birth to our children. We wish the best for them in their career, in their marriage life, in their everything, because their happiness is also our own happiness in old age. Now, we were their first teacher. We were the ones that were tutoring them. And we can not I guess I'm back now. I can be heard now.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I think it was a network problem. So I was on the point that the researches are shown that when children, learners, students are well supported or feel supported and feel choosing their own career, because they know their parents are solidly behind them. Now, this is important because studies has also shown that adolescents who feel competent regarding their career decision tends to make more satisfying career choices later in life. Now, so parents must be involved. Now, I'll give one simple ground rule for parents. And the simple rule is that be involved, but not in control. Advise, but do not decide. Then support, but do not dominate. I'll take it again. Now, every parent needs to be involved. But you need to advise, but not be the one taking the decision. And you need to support and not, dominate. Now, with this simple rule as a guiding rule, now parents have this responsibility, have this role of motivating their children, regardless of their age. Right from teenage years or even younger years, we have to motivate them. And what are we motivating them to do? We are motivating them not to give up on any work and to be hardworking. Now, because these two are very key in anybody's career life. So all parents, as much as we wish the best for our children, we want them to be fulfilled, we must also help them, excuse me, never to give up in whatever they are doing and to keep working hard until they are able to achieve success and fulfillment in whatever they are doing. Secondly, you have to help them in the process of decision making. Now, because children are going to be children, they are going to often make wrong decisions. And when they make wrong or bad decisions, this is the time that their parents must come up and help them to ask relevant questions, raise relevant issues to guide them into, the right decisions. Now, some of these issues and this also is, and parents are also supposed to be, lighthouse, just as planes have, are guided by lighthouse. Parents too should also be lighthouse for their kids, and they can do this by setting very good examples for them. Finally, here is that they must support, no matter what, even if they fail in one thing or the other, the parent must be there. So, what are the things that parents are supposed to do? I have quite a number of them here. Number one is to set realistic expectations for their children's education and career. And you can't do this except you have been able to evaluate your child's aptitude, your child's strength and weaknesses. That's the second one. Now, the third one is parents must serve as example. They must serve as good example of dedication for their children. They must serve as a good example of someone with a focus for their children. Now, another point is play this role for their children, then they must develop a very strong parent-child relationship with their kids. It must be strong to the extent that the children should be very free with their parents, so that they can discuss issues freely with them. Now, children must be given that impression of free will, freedom to choose what they want. In fact, parents should throw up discussion with their children, asking them, what would you like to be? And why do you want to be what you want to be? Even if you don't agree with your child at that particular time, okay, fine. You don't have to tell him or her at that particular time. You have to take, okay, one of the things that you have to do is also to expose your child or your children to several other professions by taking them on field trip. And when children are still ages less than 15, they can change professions 10 times. If you take your child out and maybe to come and say, I want to become a doctor. At another time, you take your child to maybe an engineering site. Your child comes home and say, I want to become an engineer. So they can change their profession, as many times as possible. So what you are doing is you are exposing them. You are making them to be able to explore, to see so many things. And they can now start asking you relevant questions as to what they actually need to become, what they want to become. So you also have to, like I said, discuss the various professions with your child. You ask them, do you know what these do? And you engage them in several discussions like that. Okay, so you also help them to be able to see themselves in future. Say 20, 30 years from now, what will you like to? Okay, and one very important thing is that parents must also speak with the teachers of their children. Yeah, you have to speak with the teachers of your children. And when you speak to them, what are you looking for? You are speaking with them to be able to see some of the things that you cannot see in your children. So when you discuss with them, you get their independent opinion about your child and what they think your child may love to do in future. Okay, so parents can also be exposed to an instrument called vocational interest event to show to you clearly where your child interest actually lies. It will tell you and it will prioritize for you. It will give you a first choice, a second choice, and the third choice interest of your child actually lies. Okay, so what are the things that you should not do as parents? Now, do not dictate your child's profession. Don't dictate what you want your child to do. Don't dictate, don't impose. Now, secondly, don't burden your children with unrealistic expectations. You must be able to do. If you are a lawyer and your child is an introvert that doesn't speak, he doesn't like talking, don't force him to say, you must know how to talk because I am your father, I'm a lawyer, you must be like me. No. When you are dealing with your children, don't be impatient when you are dealing with your children. You have to be very patient with them. For you to be able to change their impression is going to take a little time, and you have to be methodical about it. You cannot, start with a face-off, and you cannot continue to insist. I know I didn't get to meet the person who wants him to do, and when he graduated, he came back home and gave the certificate to his father and said, "Dad, this is your certificate. I did this for you. Now that I've achieved." Okay, so these are some of the things that parents should not do. Now, and then, okay, so let me go to the three basic principles that guide career selection. And this is what every parent, you need to know where the interest of your child lies. And one of the things that you can use, apart from the VI that I mentioned, you can also do some observatory techniques. When you are very observant, you try your child with so many things, and you want to see whether they actually have interest in those things. When you watch TV, you watch television, and you see some channels that your child is showing interest in. Okay, for example, I know we have some animal channels on TV, and when you see your child always showing interest in that channel, then it means that maybe there is something in it for your child. Okay, I know we have some investigative channels on TV, and when your child shows interest in that, then it tells you something about it. Okay, so interest is very, very key. When you do something you're not interested in, you end up not enjoying it. And when you have interest in a particular thing and you are doing it, even if you are not so rich about it, you still have this, self-actualization. Now, interest is on one part. The second thing we have to look out for is aptitude. Aptitude here means academic achievement. You need to look at, right from nursery, through primary, through secondary, look at the subjects that your child is interested in. Subjects. Which subjects is he or she best at doing? Where does he score very high? And which subjects is he or she performing, very poorly? So, do the subjects academic achievement, does it go in with interest? In my life as a guidance counselor, I've met so many children. I met a student who says, "I want to become a medical doctor." And when you come to, that's interest. That's what you like to do. That's your interest. Okay, so when it comes to the aptitude, so which subject do you hate most? He said the subject I hated most is biology. There you can see there's a problem there. There's a problem because there's nobody want to become a medical doctor without, you love to do biology or have very high interest in biology. So the aptitude must also be, in accord with the interest. So interest is one. You can have interest in so many things. You can also, have aptitude in whatever. Now, the two of them, both of them can be worked on. You may have interest in a particular career or profession or course, but you're not good in terms of academic achievement. Then you can start working your academic achievement so that you can be good in them. Okay, in some areas where you have very strong academic achievement, but you don't like such profession, you can build on your interest in those areas. By the time you are exposed to the life of, such people in the profession, by the time you are exposed to some of the advantages in the profession, by the time you are exposed to some of the great people that have achieved a lot in that profession, then you start picking interest in it. Then the last point, apart from interest, aptitude, is talent. Every child, every one of us, we are multi-talented. So, and see where their talent lies. And talent is something that makes career very, very easy, because if you are talented in something and you choose it as your profession or as a career, then it means you are going to do it seamlessly. It's just like you have talent in your area of core competence. So it means it is just like your ability area. And your ability area becomes your whole capacity area. So when these three are looked at critically, then a child will successfully be guided towards choosing a career. Mind you, I mentioned interest, I mentioned aptitude, which is academic achievement, and I mentioned talent. Now, finally, I'm going to look at the factors that we need to discuss with our children when they want to choose any profession. The first one is the relevance of the career today and the possible relevance of that career tomorrow. We must be able to discuss with them. Discussion, wherein everybody will be free to express their opinions on what they feel. And no opinion is, takes precedence over the other. So, relevance. We must be able to justify the relevance of any profession today and tomorrow. Secondly, what is the entry qualification to pursue a course in that career? The entry qualification. So that you know what you are going for. Exactly. You know where to put your strength. You know where to direct your artwork. What is the simple, basic entry qualification for this particular profession? I know that if you want to study law, you need to have a strong credit in English, maybe literature, and government and subjects like that. So a child must know from the beginning that this is the required entry qualification for me to study law in the university. Now, when you are pursuing a degree in law, you cannot go to court until you have been called to bar. That's another entry requirement. For you to be able to appear in court, you need to be called to bar. So it means that it is not enough that you spend 4 or 5 years studying law. You still have to go to the law school to do 1 year before you can be called to bar. Okay, so these are entry requirements that must be clear to our children. Thirdly, is the method of entry. Method of entry. How do I become this? There are some you need to go through polytechnics. They are good for that. There are some it has to be through College of Education if you want to become this. There are some you don't even need to go to university to become whatever you want to be. There are specialized institutions where you can go and study and pursue a particular career. You need to discuss with your children and expose them to the various methods of entry. Number 4 is the length of training. You want to become a medical doctor, you have to go for 6, 7 years. Is it 6 years in the or 7 years in the university? Now there are some children who don't have that patience. They just, I need to do a 4-year course and get out and start doing whatever I want to do. So if you know you want to become a medical doctor, you have to go through 6, 7 years of intensive academic rigor in the university. Now, when you finish, you are not just anyway, you are a medical doctor. However, if you want to become a consultant, you have to go for another 6 years of residency program before you can become a consultant. So, length of training is critical.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much,
We
Mr.
must allow
Ogunmuyiwa
our
Suleimon.
children to understand how long it's going to take them before they can become what they want to be.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your time and thank you for the insight. I believe everyone watching has really learned a lot. That is, the parent has a major role to play in choosing a career for their child. They need to study that child. You need to know the talent your child has. You don't need to impose your career as what you chose as a career as a parent. You shouldn't impose it on your children. You need to study them, know their skills, know the subject they like in school and all that. Very, 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 very insightful. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. We wish to continue, but time won't really permit us for that. So I want to appreciate you for your time, sir. And we are so grateful. I believe it's the network cut off the main host for this program, but I believe who she's working on it. But we can't wait now because we need to round up the program now. So I really want to appreciate you, sir, for your time. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for honoring the invite. God bless you, sir. All right. So, viewer, thanks for watching. You can join us same time on Pairs of Wisdom. Thank you so much and have a nice evening. Bye.